Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to ARIRANG News Break. I'm Han Da-eun in Seoul. Leading us off this afternoon is the ongoing division at the National Assembly over supplementary budget bill. Despite an agreement among Korea's three major political parties to pass the multi-billion-dollar budget bill by today, a conclusion remains at this point out of reach. This morning's full assembly, in which an extra spending was supposed to be approved, was canceled after negotiations broke down. Both sides are trading blame. The ruling SLBM party says the main opposition Minju Party kept adding conditions that include long contended issues of child care services and more financial aid for South Korean businesses shut out of the inter-Korean Kaesong industrial complex. But the Minju Party argues the ruling bloc stymied their efforts to provide financial help to citizens. It accuses the Saenuri Party of giving billions of dollars in handouts to insolvent conglomerates in the shipbuilding and shipping industries while ignoring the needs of ordinary people struggling to get by. It's not yet clear whether the budget supplement will pass the Assembly before the end of the day, but we will have full coverage on that as we learn more. Also today, the Korean government has laid out its budget proposal for next year, aimed at breathing life into the sluggish economy. The plan calls for a total spending of 400.7 trillion won, or roughly $360 billion, up 3.7% from this year. About a third would be spent on health and welfare, while the government has also stepped up spending in other sectors, including culture and education. A key objective of the budget is to boost job creation and provide more support for young people in finding work. The government will also invest more in R&D to foster new growth engines, including self-driving vehicles and artificial intelligence. Another portion will be used to try and tackle the country's low birth rate by offering more support for families. Also up, defense spending in light of recent tensions on the Korean peninsula. Under the proposal, estimates put next year's debt-to-GDP ratio at 40.4%, a new record, but the government says the size of the budget won't hurt the country's fiscal soundness. North Korea's launch last week of a ballistic missile from a submarine was viewed as especially threatening to South Korea in light of the progress it represents in the regime's weapons development. But raising further concerns, a U.S. ballistic missile expert says North Korea could rework its SLBMs to pose an even greater threat. Connie Kim reports.
A U.S.-based expert has warned there is a serious possibility North Korea can convert the type of ballistic missile it launched last week from a submarine-launched weapon into one based on land. Jeffrey Lewis of the Middlebury Institute in California voiced that concern, noting the North did something similar in reconfiguring a Russian SLBM into an intermediate-range cruise-done missile. Lewis pointed out that an SLBM fired from ground-based launchers could be a bigger threat when solid fuel is injected, as that cuts down on launch prep time. In addition, Lewis urged South Korea to deploy 2 THAAD missile defense batteries, as a THAAD radar only has a 120-degree field of view. Just one THAAD installation would leave South Korea caught off guard if the North attacked with ground SLBMs fired from the eastern, western, or southern parts of the peninsula. North Korea showed off its fast-developing missile capabilities with its successful launch of an SLBM last week, which flew some 500 kilometers. Experts have called not only for the deployment of the THAAD system on the Korean peninsula, but also a nuclear-powered submarine. While various options have been presented to deter the North's SLBM development, the U.S. expert agreed with those who say that deterrence is actually a much less effective strategy than persuading Pyongyang to give up its nuclear weapons program. Connie Kim, ARIRANG News.
Japan is battening down the hatches as a powerful storm is on a collision course with the nation. Typhoon Lionrock is due to reach the coastal regions of northeast Japan late Tuesday. Although it won't directly affect Korea, parts of the nation can expect heavy rain and blustery winds over the next couple of days. Yoon-shin has more.
Packing gusts of up to 215 kilometers an hour, Typhoon Lionrock is expected to make landfall in the central and northern part of Japan, including the Honshu region by Tuesday evening, local time. Powerful winds have already started to buffer the nation, prompting the cancellation of hundreds of domestic flights and disrupting local train services. The typhoon is expected to dump 80 millimeters of rain per hour on some areas. And as a result, outdoor events have been canceled and nearly 1,000 schools closed in Miyagi and Iwate prefectures. Along with that, high wave and flood warnings have been issued along Japan's northern coastal regions. And although South Korea isn't in the storm's direct path, weather conditions in the nation have been under the typhoon's indirect influence since Monday. Some coastal areas in Gyeongsangbuk-do and Gangwon-do provinces have already seen up to 200 millimeters of precipitation and are expecting more downpours throughout Tuesday. Also due to the rain, storm and surge advisories have been issued for Ulleungdo and Dokdo Island in the East Sea, and places such as Jeju Island, the western port city of Incheon, and most of Chungcheongnam-do province are under strong wind advisory. As Typhoon Lionrock moves north, heading towards China and Russia through Wednesday, South Korea's central and eastern regions are forecast to see rainy and blustery conditions. 이은신, 아리랑 뉴스.
And that's all for now. Stay tuned for more top stories here on Arirang. Thank you for watching.